What can I do for a Hellboy on throne custom statue intro? I could just use that. Hey everybody, welcome to the Extreme channel. Today we're going to do a review on this custom 1/4 scale Hellboy on throne statue. Let me break all that down for you. A statue is a monument usually made out of an earthly material of a person or character. Hellboy is a comic book character that has also been in video games and movies. Now he's not specific to Marvel or DC. I believe he is his own universe, although I think he was in a DC video game. 1/4 scale means that a real-life version of Hellboy would be 4 times larger. Now, custom means it was a private, unlicensed commission. They only made 40 of these, and I've actually bought a number of pieces from this custom group. My most recent one was this Demo Goblin right here that unfortunately had some breakages, so I'm still waiting on a resolution. This is one of those pieces I actually forgot about, and the reason why I got him is I think Hellboy is kind of a badass character, and as you see behind me, I love throne statues. So he is actually going right down there, if he fits. He's kind of big, I don't know if he'll fit.
That's what she said.
Before we dive into the review about Hellboy, I'm going to let you guys know while I like Hellboy, I don't have a lot of intimate knowledge on him. So it's very possible that I will miss some facts or get some stuff completely wrong. If that offends you, your mom is no doubtedly close to you and she can comfort you. But let's dive right in, and on this piece I'm going to let you know right now there's some things I absolutely love about it and some things that I hate. A little bit of history about Hellboy. So Hellboy is a boy that came from hell. No, so he is a demon that was actually summoned during World War II. The Nazis meant to summon him to take over the earth, end everything as we know it. However, he was adopted by some good guys or some guys on the Allies side, and then he was raised to fight crime and mythical creatures and things of that nature. Now, while he is quite a bit older, he acts like a teenager, and like I said, he's kind of a badass. So he's very knowledgeable about mythical creatures and potions, and he usually works on a team. He has an arm made out of an indestructible rock. He likes to use a lot of different weapons. You can see a gun here. He usually has pouches full of talismans and things of that nature. There's a flaming sword up front. So let's start off, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite parts of this piece, is that's the concept. Now with throne statues, most of the time throne statues kind of insinuate that this person is now the ruler or the king. They've done that either by defeating their enemies or just being a badass. Now there are some features of that in here, but not necessarily like a lot of the throne pieces I've reviewed before. Let's take a look. Now on the bottom of this you have a rock-like base. And I'm not sure the nature of the rock-like base because as we're going to move up, we see the octopus. And I can't pronounce its name, but I do know this was one of his big enemies. A few different stories he was featured in, but he has defeated it. There's pieces all over the place, or so we think he's defeated it. And there is a very ornate designed throne chair. This is very interesting because it's such a contrast from the rock base below. But he is sitting on it like a badass. He's got one foot propped up. He's got his flaming sword, which looks amazing. He's kind of sitting back. It really goes to his character. This particular portrait switch out we're looking at now, we're going to talk about in design. Not only does he have a flaming crown above him, but his horns are fully grown, which is typically not the case. You might also catch the octopus coming on the side. Maybe that's going to attack him. Maybe he hasn't defeated it yet. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on with this story. Like I said, I don't really know if it's specific from a Hellboy story or if it's a lot of the different stories of him mixed together, but I love it. He looks badass. Like I said, there's a lot of flow to this, and it raises a lot of questions, which makes me even more curious about the statue. So I love it. I think on my extreme scale, it's a 5 out of 5 on the concept. Really well done, really well executed. I'm a big fan. Now with design, honestly, there's a lot of good stuff going on there too. But let's take a look at the unboxing and assembly of this first. It was a box. I really thought it'd be 2 boxes or 1 larger box, but that was fine. So it was the cushy white styrofoam, which is nice because it doesn't get everywhere. However, when I immediately opened it, I was worried because my last few pieces had breakages. However, the first layer, not really anything broken. Now the second layer had the throne and the octopus arm, and it kind of transcended multiple layers as you can see right here, but thankfully nothing was broken. Now you do have some display options. I don't think it's meant to be a display option, but this big ass tentacle on the back can be removed. As you see, it keys in right down here, and it actually leaves a really nasty seam line. You can see it right here. However, that's on the back, so unless this is a centerpiece display, you'll never see it. But he does have 3 portrait options. First is the one we're looking at. Now this is probably the one I'm going to display simply for the fact it has the flaming head. Now, I don't like the expression on his face. I'm not a fan, and I'm not a fan of the long hair either. Usually it's in a ponytail, like this portrait. Now, to me, this is one of the most accurate portraits. I like this a lot. You can also see that his horns are cut off. And then you have another portrait here where he has his signature cigar. And then this one, he's actually a little bit fatter. It's quite a bit different than the other than the one we just looked at least his face. Here's a picture of them side by side to show you what I'm talking about. And we'll look at those closer during paint and sculpt. Now, a lot of the things they did here was really interesting. As you saw me put it together, this armrest right here is actually all magnetized. The tail is both magnetized and keys in. The arm to the body keys in, where the arm is permanently attached to here. I like the floating effect that you have with the flame crown. It keys in on the back of his head, and from the side it doesn't look the best. However, straight on, which is how I plan to display him, it looks like it's really floating. That's pretty cool. Everything is fully sculpted. I like the clear resin effects that they used for the fire. I think it takes it to the next level. So let's measure this beast, and it's very important for me because we're going to find out if it's going to fit where I want to put it at. That's what she said. So the widest part is probably 18 inches or so. The deepest part with the octopus tentacle, like I said, you could actually remove it if you wanted to. It's a little under 21 inches. The octopus tentacle adds, we're going to say 4.5 inches or so. So now height, the scary part for me. The tallest part is 24 inches. Honestly, the design's a 4 out of 5. I'm really impressed by it. I think they did a very nice job. Nothing was broken in shipping, which was nice. Paint and sculpt is where this piece is weak. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but there are definitely some opportunities, more so with the paint than the sculpt. And then the portraits, I'm just not a big fan. So starting with the portraits here. Now his hair, like I said, this is traditionally, he has kind of that man bun in the back. I think there's too much blue, at least in this particular portrait, in the hair. Granted, it's in the back, so you'd never see it, but even on the mutton chops down here, and the hair looks okay. Nothing amazing. Very smooth part, top of the skin, and I think that's decently accurate. Where the horns are cut off, he actually files them down, so I like how they did that. They added some black. You see almost some black in most of the crevices here. The cigar, the end paint of it's okay. It doesn't look like a real cigar. In my opinion, it's more comic style. And then there's some bleed off in the paint, you see right there with the chin. The eyes look okay. Now I do acknowledge, as you guys know, my wife recently got into painting statues. The eyes are the hardest part to do. So it's okay. I would have liked more of a badass expression. I don't think he has it on this. Same thing with this guy right here. Not really a badass expression. Definitely he's thinking quite a bit more. Same comments with the hair and the horns. They're not filed down as much. They're a little bit more smooth, so I like that it's varied. He looks so much skinnier in this. And again, this is where my knowledge is a little lacking. Maybe this is a different version of him. And his mouth is closed, so that's interesting that they don't show his teeth at all. And that's the same on this portrait. Now, I hate how he's kind of biting his lip on this. I really don't like this, but what I do like is the aged effect they gave him. So he's let his horns grow out. You can assume it's later in his life. That's why he's sitting on the throne. He's given up on everything. His hair is flowing down. So I like the story that this tells. You don't see as much blue highlights in this, but it is a little bit farther away from those lights. A lot of the same comments I have about the facial hair and the eyes, but like I said, I like how it looks like an older Hellboy. Now, his horns, I like that. It's almost like they've kind of built on each other because they're so old, because he previously filed them down, so I like what's going on there. I like the clear resin effect on the flame. See, that's where it's poking into, but I think that looks really good. It looks like fire. I like painted polystone for fire too, but I think clear resin for me is a little bit cooler. This chair is one of the best parts. So there's so much detail, so much going on here, from the skulls to whatever that creature is. And I like the faded color they used and the way it contrasts with this red cushion. Now this is fully sculpted, and they did a great job with the stitching and kind of the puff out that makes it look like a real cushion that can be set everywhere on it. There's kind of some rivets in it. So really, really nice job on this chair. The armrests have whatever creature this is on the end. So much cool detail, and even on the back here, it's kind of mirrored what's on the front. And the skull's right here. And then down here, the feet. So really great job on this chair. Like I said, I love those colors. It's a mix of black and gray and just pops and contrasts really well. So we'll come back to Hellboy, but the rock looks all right at the bottom. It's a little bit dusty. I like the brown that's mixed in, and I think the texture and the cracks look decent. The runoff again though, look where the octopus hits, and I'm not talking about the blood of the octopus, but it looks kind of sloppy here, and I'm not a fan. They added this wet moist effect. You can see it right here too. That looks all right. I think it looks better than it would without. The sculpt of the octopus, I like how it's kind of leached over onto this symbol down here. The blood is very poorly done in my opinion. Look how it's kind of, the sculpt is raised up and they painted what assumably should have been the blood, the color of the octopus below. So not a fan of that. And just how it leaches around the holes. The suckers, or whatever, suction cups on the bottom here, I like the colors again. I think it's nice. They look kind of like flowers though. And then just not a huge fan of the texture of the skin in general and some of the colors they chose. It actually looks better on camera than it does in real life, which is good for you guys, I guess. Love the flaming sword. Like I said, that cool resin effect, very impressive. And then it's this crown hilt. Pretty neat. Again, adds to that holiness or prestige. So Hellboy is actually done really well. I love these fatigue army combat boots. They look great. The laces are that looks amazing. Great paint job on that. I like how they're dirty on the bottom. It flows well with the rest of that. And the pants, the folds, the seams, it's this off brown color that's different from the boots, so I think it looks good. Really impressed by that. But like these talisman and cross down here, it looks kind of crappy how the paint job and the sculpt mixed in together, or even his belt. Big miss right there. Pouches are solid. I like them a lot, but again, like this belt part right here looks really crappy. It's so weird. It's like someone, painted and sculpted this, and then someone else painted and sculpted that, or just the print machine sucked. His hand looks good. I think they did a nice job with that. I like the color they chose. It's a good contrast. I know I'm saying that a lot, but looks like solid rock, traditional Hellboy hand. Anytime there's micro detail, like look at the crappy job with the paint on there. But I do like his anatomy and kind of the fur, or, I don't know if it's fur or hair, whatever you'd call it. He is a demon. So, pistol, the classic Hellboy pistol looks good. A little cartoonish, but still good. So it's so strange. Some of the things with paint and sculpt are done so well, and some are crap. First, let me grade the paint. At best, I'd say it's a 3 out of 5. It's probably closer to a 2. I think Hellboy's done really well, minus some of the stuff we talked about. The chair I like a lot. The rest of it, kind of iffy. So because the chair and Hellboy are the most important part, I think I can definitely stick with a 3, even though a lot of the rest bothers me. Sculpt. Again, I like Hellboy's pants. I like his body. The portraits I am just not a fan of. The octopus looks okay. Again, the chair really, I like it a lot. I think the chair has one of the best parts of the statue. So I think at best it's a 3 out of 5. Maybe I wouldn't say at best, but it is a solid 3 out of 5 on the sculpt. Now, there's a lot of Hellboy statues out there, so is this a good one for the value? Well, to my knowledge, this is the only one on a throne. I think there's definitely some better custom Hellboy statues out there. There's some amazing custom Hellboy statues. I've never been a fan of a lot of the licensed ones that were produced. I like this one better than any of the licensed ones. Now, they made 40 of these, and retail was $9.50. However, it shipped out of the Philippines, which is really, really expensive. So express shipping was $650. So you're $1,600 all in for this piece. Now granted, with what's going on in the world, shipping prices are just through the roof. I think in a normal world, or when I ordered this 2 years ago, shipping probably would have been $300 to $400. However, we're grading it based on what I paid for shipping, what everyone's going to pay for shipping. So as I said, you're $1,600 all in for this piece. I think I could make that back if I was trying to sell it and I was patient. You know, Hellboy has a cult following, and the fact that this is a throne piece and there's a lot of cool stuff with the concept and design, I think that really, really helps and can overlook some of the flaws in the paint and sculpt. I give the value a 3 out of 5. Now we get to the final score, and if you're new to the channel, it's not cumulative. We don't just add up the other scores or take an average. It's, does this statue have the X factor? Is this impressive when you look at it? And honestly, I am really impressed with this. I like it a lot. I don't think it's a 5 out of 5 statue. I don't think it deserves that ranking. But I think it's a 4 out of 5. It is a very cool concept. It's very different. And I think it's going to look awesome in my throne collection. If you want to see some pictures of what it looks like, go ahead and check out the Extreme Channel Instagram, Facebook page, and now TikTok. But overall, yeah, I definitely think it's a 4 out of 5 on this statue. I like it a lot. So let me know what you think of this piece. Dropping comments really helps the visibility of the channel, and it enters you into these awesome giveaways we're doing. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't on your way out. And if you like stuff like that, hit a picture of me. You can subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. Take care, guys.